Very good morning, students. So you know very well that operating system is a system software acting as an interface between computer hardware and computer user, providing an environment in which user may execute their program. To execute user programs, operating system providing an environment. So in this environment, OS acting as a resource manager, so that it managing, controlling the basic resources of computer. So the basic resources are microprocessor, primary memory, that is RAM space, secondary memory, that is hard disk space, then IO devices and other devices. So these are all basic resources. These basic resources are going to be allocated to one user program for successful completion of its execution. Okay, you know very well that processor is a non-shareable device. At the same time, it must support multi-programming, so that the single processor going to debut its service to various user program in foreground as well as background in different time interval, different time slice. So based on this, we discussed in the past 15 days various CPU processor scheduling algorithms. So for example, first come first served, priority, shortest job first, and shortest job remain time algorithms. So each algorithm has its own advantages as well as disadvantages. We also discussed these things. Okay, so I think it is better to revise the advantages and the disadvantages of all these. So first come first served. So in first come first served, operating system going to look the queue. So the queue contains what are all the jobs submitted by various user for execution. Okay, so based on the principle of first come first served, operating system, that is long term scheduler. So in processor management there are three schedulers: long term scheduler, short term scheduler and medium term scheduler. So the long term scheduler going to select better job from the job queue. Then the short term scheduler going to select better job from a ready queue. So the medium term scheduler selecting one job that is better job that are the processes and it is in waiting state. If more than one job is in waiting state, there is a problems to pick the processor next, so that the medium term scheduler used. Okay, so in processor management we discussed these three schedulers. So the first the long term scheduler going to select the better job from the job queue. So based on the principle of first come first served, so it going to look on the queue and its entries. So in this entries there is an important details, that is entry time. So the entry time gives which job entered first or at what time the job entered, isn't it? So based on this value, the first come first served algorithm going to select one job that is entered first, so that here its implementation and everything is fine, but there are some drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? if a bigger size higher execution time job is selected, its a turnaround time increased, so that more number of jobs waiting in the queue, so automatically the performance of the system, that is throughput, will be there may be a chance to come to low. Okay, at the same time the that is lower execution time programs must wait for till a higher execution time jobs completed. Okay, so a simple job waiting for longer time. So this is an important disadvantage of first come first served. Next, priority algorithm. So I told already, priority is the inverse of execution time, so that a higher execution time, which job require higher execution time having lower priority, and which jobs required lower execution time having higher priority. Okay, so we know very well that according to priority, only higher priority jobs are going to be selected first. Okay, so that according to the principle of priority, only a higher priority jobs are going to be selected. So in this situation, there may be a chance that lower priority jobs waiting for longer time. At the same time, if higher priority jobs entered frequently, means there is no chance to execute lower priority programs. So this leads starvation. If starvation exceeds, aging must be performed. Okay, so these are all the disadvantages of priority algorithm. Next, shortest job first. So shortest job first algorithm selects one job from job queue that have low execution time, isn't it? Low execution time. Suppose now one job is selected and its execution time is lower, so that it is selected for execution. Once it entered into its execution, a new job entered, the execution time of the new job is lesser than the currently executing process. So in this situation, the newly entered job must wait for completion of currently executing process. Okay, so this is disadvantages of shortest remain time algorithm. Shortest job first algorithm. To overcome this, shortest remain time algorithm evolved. So in shortest remain time algorithm, there is one problem that so shortest remain time algorithm is a preemptive algorithm, others are non-preemptive algorithms. So in first come first served, priority and shortest job first, these three are non-preemptive algorithms, so that once a job entered into its execution will not going to be disturbed or interrupted till its execution completion. But in so shortest remain time algorithm is a preemptive algorithm. So even even a job is entered in execution, there are greater chance to preempt by OS. Okay, that is emptified by stopped or interrupted by OS when a new shortest job entered. Okay, so this is a main disadvantage of shortest remain time algorithm. Here now we analyze the four algorithms: first come first served, priority, shortest job first, and shortest remain time algorithm, isn't it? So here in these 4 algorithms, there is one major disadvantage, that is, in computer all user programs must be treated equally. Okay, must be treated equally. So based on this principle, okay, the round robin algorithm evolved. Are you clear? So this the topic nowadays we are going to discuss is round robin algorithm. So in round robin algorithm, the basic policy is the CPU time is divided into many time intervals, and in each time interval one job or one process going to be involved in execution. Very clear? So in round robin algorithm, the CPU time is divided into many time interval, and in each time interval different jobs are going to be executed. Okay. So for your understanding, for your better understanding, in okay, we know very well that day 24 hours composed to form one day. So one day means 24 hours. So 1 hour means 60 minutes. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Then there are milliseconds, nanosecond, picosecond, these and all various units of time. So computers are working in nanosecond and picosecond. Okay, so that for your understanding, CPU time means 60 millisecond. 60 millisecond. So the 60 millisecond is divided into 6 time interval, so that each time interval is a 10 millisecond interval, isn't it? So 60 milliseconds divided into 6 time interval, and each time interval is a 10 millisecond time slice. Okay, in each time slice or each time interval one job is selected for execution. So this is the principle of round robin. So here the job queue going to be treated as a round queue, circular queue. Okay, so which job? So here the first come first served going to be implemented. Okay, so which job entered first going to be selected. Okay, so this job allowed to pick the first time slice. So within the time slice, the program can be executed completely or not. Okay, so here there are 3 cases. First case, the entire time slice is sufficient for executing one program. So now the size of time slice is 10 millisecond. So the execution time of one job is 10 milliseconds, means within a single time interval the job can be completed successfully, isn't it? Next, second case, the execution time required by one job is lesser than the time slice. Okay, so this is a second case. So in this case, so the time slice is more sufficient for completion of execution. Okay, for your understanding, the time slice is 10 millisecond. The required execution time of one job is 7 millisecond. Okay, so that in the first 7 millisecond the job is executed. So at the completion of 7th millisecond the job completed. So remaining 3 millisecond will not be free. So the next job selected immediately and execution resumes by a different job. In third case is a special one, that is execution time of one program is greater than the time slice of round robin. So here within the time slice the program cannot be executed. So for your understanding, the size of the time slice is 10 millisecond. So here the size of the program is 25 millisecond. Okay. So in the first time slice, first 10 milliseconds going to be used for its execution. So next for 15 millisecond it must enter again to the ready queue. Are you clear? Very first it is selected from the job queue. Next it must be available in the ready queue. So the job, that is which job and its execution time is 25 milliseconds. So 25 milliseconds means for the completion of this job it require 3 time slice, isn't it? So first time slice 10 milliseconds, second time slice 10 milliseconds, third time slice 5 milliseconds going to be utilized, isn't it? So if a job and its execution time is 25 millisecond and the actual size of the time slice is 10 millisecond, so that for the successful completion of that program it required 3 time slice, so that whenever the time slice is captured by the program it going to be executed. Okay. So this is the third case in round robin algorithm. So with this idea come to understand, this is a preemptive algorithm. Okay. So now we discussed round robin algorithm. Okay. So the first two cases, that is which job selected currently having equal size or lesser than. So in these two cases the job will not going to be emptified, but in the third case the job may be emptified, so that round robin is a preemptive algorithm. Next, it is used extensively in interactive systems. It is used in interactive systems. So interactive system means, what do you mean interactive program? So at the time of execution, if you are going to supply data from keyboard or other input devices, means this is an interactive program. So such a system, interactive systems. So next, based on predetermined slice of time, each job assigned time quantum or time interval. Okay, for each job equally one time slice is allocated. Then time quantum size. So in round robin algorithm, selecting the size of the time slice is the major problem. So if the size of the time slice is higher, means it will be similar to first come first served, isn't it? So if it is more small, means more number of preemption will happen. Okay, this will affect the performance of the system. Are you clear? Okay, so selecting the size of the time interval in round robin algorithm is a major problem. So that is crucial to system performance, varies from 100 milliseconds to 1-2 seconds. Actually the size of the time interval is 100 milliseconds to 2 seconds. But nowadays more not milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds. Next, CPU equally shared among all active processes. Actually, this is the basic principle of round robin. Okay, so all the jobs having equal rights to enter into execution. So there is not monopolized by one job. Actually, one job will not going to dominate remaining jobs, isn't it? So in round robin algorithm, all the jobs are going to be treated equally. So within the time slice, its execution can be completed. Otherwise, it must enter into queue. So that the job must get back to the queue. So it must enter in the tail of the queue, isn't it? Next, job placed on ready queues. Okay. Actually, round robin algorithm is effectively used in ready queue, not in job queue. Actually, in job queue, only first come first served is used. So round robin algorithm is more suited for short term scheduler. Process scheduler select first job, sets a timer to time quantum, allocates CPU. So I told already. So the long term scheduler select one job from the job queue. So for the program, one time slice, for the job user job, one time slice is allocated. So next, time expires. So once the time slice expires means, so the job may be preempted or not preempted. So it should be preemptive means it must enter again to the ready queue. If job CPU cycle time quantum job preempted and placed at the end of the ready queue, I told already. So if a job is preempted means it must enter into the tail of the ready queue. So information sent in PCB. What is PCB? Process control block. So the process, each process has its own process control block. So the process control block having many entries, that is a process ID, process priority, then its execution time, and some more control informations. Okay. So students are asked to go through the PCB. What is PCB? So what are the details available in PCB? How these details are helped to or involved in executing CPU scheduling algorithms. Next, if job CPU cycle time quantum job finished, so these are all the things we discussed already. So once IO request satisfied, job returns to end of the ready queue and waits CPU. So you know very well that a program is a combination of CPU instruction and IO instruction. If it is a CPU instruction, CPU going to execute. If it is an IO instruction, IO devices are going to be busy. Okay. So when a program is in execution, any one CPU or IO devices will be free. Okay. So if both are busy means the job must be in waiting state. Okay. Here, come to understand this diagram. So for your understanding, so the job A entered first. So the time slice is 4 milliseconds. The size of the time slice is 4 milliseconds. So job A selected first. So the first 4 milliseconds utilized by job A, then job B, then job C, then job D. Okay. So till now the job A and its execution not completed, so it entered again. So from the milliseconds 16 to 20, the job A involved in execution. Then C. So what we understood? B completed, then D, then C. Okay. So here the job C required 3 time slices, isn't it? So and look on the last turn, the job C required only 1 milliseconds, that is it started in 25th milliseconds and it ends in 26th millisecond. So likewise the job D, so it required only 2 milliseconds. So what will be the execution time of job A? So 8 milliseconds, isn't it? So from 0 to 4 and 16 to 20, so totally 8 milliseconds. For B, so it required only 4 milliseconds. So within a single time interval, time slice, its execution completed. Next C. So C involved 3 times. So its execution time 8 to 12, that is 4 milliseconds, 20 to 24, 4 milliseconds, so 4 plus 4, 8 milliseconds, at the last 25 to 26, so 9 milliseconds. So the execution time of C was 9. Then D, so 12 to 16, 4 milliseconds, and 24 to 25, so its execution time was 6 milliseconds. Okay. So that here all jobs A, B, C, D treated equally. So here the turnaround time of B is low, but C, D, D no problem, but C was very low because C entered at the time is 8 milliseconds, but at what time it completed? 26 milliseconds. So 26 minus 8, how much? 18. So for executing 9 milliseconds program, it consumed 18 milliseconds. So the performance was only 50%. Okay. So these are all the advantages and disadvantages of a round robin algorithm. So students, I asked you all to go through some other study materials, that is textbooks. Okay. So in research work we are going to do these things. Okay. We have to take few number of algorithms. Okay. The 5 algorithms: first come first serve priority, for shortest job, shortest remain time algorithm, and round robin algorithm. For a particular workload, how we can come to a conclusion that which algorithm is a best one. So this is one research work. Okay. So that please go through various materials. So Madnick Donovan is the textbook for your study operating system, Madnick Donovan. So this book available in our library. I think this is not available in ebook form. So even though you can go through many, you can watch many videos available in YouTube, whatever it may be. The next week you are going to facing the mid semester examination. So the mid semester examination will be converted to your will be available in your mark sheet. Okay, so that take care and be ready, be prepared.